Well, hey guys, welcome back to Route 66 Restoration Friends. I'm working on the tail panel of this car here last week, and I got frustrated and I kind of walked away from it. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, why would this seem like, to me, this is pushed in? And you can see it's pushed in, right? And it was pushed in farther than that. The whole piece, and I got come out and I got looking at it, there's a dent there. And then I remembered seeing a photograph, which I will insert here. If you look at that photograph, the back brace was bent. And I remember that it had a chain around it when I got the car. And I think they tried to push this car and pull it without the thing. So I've been happily rebuilding the corners, right? Both corners actually here. And I've just been merrily going along my way figuring that they were in the right place. Well, they weren't. You can see right here the gap. It's a 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch pushed in. And so I'm having to pull these out. And I couldn't get the tail panel to fit, and I was wondering what was going on. So, you know, when we get these cars, we don't know what's going on in their life before they get to us. This might actually, this whole quarter panel here, this outside quarter panel, I replaced because it was pushed in where it swiped the guardrail or a post or something, because it was all flat and pushed in. So I replaced that. Replace that panel on the outside here. But now, now I'm having this alignment problem. And so I'm trying to sort that out, and I'm getting frustrated with it. Why is it not fitting? But the problem is I think when they had that brace, the tail brace in here, it was all, and I can show you the brace. Here's the brace and the kink that was in it. So that thing is pushed around and really bad shape. There's no strength to it. So it knocked everything out of whack. So here I am redoing the whack, trying to redo what they whacked up. And I got this, I rebuilt this when I first started back several months ago. Now, over here, I just recently did this one. So now I got to go through and redo them once I get them in the right position. And also, they were interfering. You can see how far this out is. It was interfering with this and putting the end, rebuilding this, so nothing would fit. And so that's definitely been my problem for some time in figuring this trunk out. I'm just hoping that I didn't put this tail panel in too far. I hope it'll come out. But worst comes to worst, we got welders. I can add a piece on there. I'm getting kind of proficient at scabbing things together, it seems like. So I don't claim to be no professional welder, but I've stuck a lot of things together over the years, and there's some of them are still stuck. So it's a good thing. But it's frustrating to go along and work on these things, and you don't feel like you're making progress. And then you come up against something, and you're beating your head against the wall. And I was joking with my wife today that, I always thought I'd name the car after my mother, but I said, I think I'm going to have to call it Patches because it's just a series of patches. But that's just a joke aside. They're not making any more 57 Chevrolets. And, I always wanted one, so you get what you can afford and you work with it. And, you should be happy with your project. You should be proud of your project when you're done. If you've done the best you can, that's good enough, I have a hard time with the Honda Civic guys, right? The flat black, the fart can, and the wheels. But I got thinking about it. It's like, they're doing the best that they can do. Maybe they didn't have a dad to teach them or help them work on a car, and so they've just been reading some, forums or whatever, and they're working hard. None of this comes easy. The first drive is a good thing. I watch Rat Rods for Africa, and he just did a first ride on his, he calls it the Reno Bug. And you know, hey, he got to the first ride, drove the car down the road, brought it from nothing to back on the road again, and all while fighting cancer. You know, and that kind of puts things into perspective for me a little bit. You know, I've been having some health issues, shoulder repair. My back's been bad for many years, and it's finally gotten to the point where it's a disability. So, but I digress. You don't want to hear me rattle on. I know you want to look at the cars and look at the things, and you know, take it easy, guys. Live your life. Enjoy it. Talk to you later.